Good morning, survivors, and welcome back to This Week on the Ark, your number 4 source for everything happening across the Ark. I'm your host, and this week we've got a creature vote winner, a bunch of new Lost Colony information, and I think we've cracked the code on the Lost Colony story. This week brings another creature vote winner, which this time we are for sure confident that it's the Therizino, arguably the only herbivore that terraforms players more than any of the carnivores on the island. Whether you use it for gathering, boss fights, or simply as an intimidating lawn ornament, the theory continues to stir arguments about its need for a TLC and whether or not there may be more deserving creatures on the list. The new Paleo Therizino, maybe we're likely to see something similar to this, and honestly I think this thing could just use a remodel. I don't know if it needs a full TLC, but I'm excited to see what they can do with it. Alright, now admittedly moving on to some of the more exciting news. In addition to the new community crunch, our sources show that if you go to the Survive the Ark YouTube channel, you'll be able to get the exclusive look or listen to the official Lost Colony. Go ahead and take a listen for yourself, because as always, Wildcard has done a tremendous job with their scores, and this one is no exception. This release is accompanied by a surprise to absolutely no one. The Lost Colony has been delayed for now only to December 18th. With the release of the main theme for this DLC, we also get the cover art, which looks incredible, and we'll go over that in a bunch of detail here now, kind of everything I can see. The first thing we'll go over is the gloon, which is the one they actually describe. A glowing oddity drifts through air at prime. Whether it's repulsive or oddly adorable is up for debate. But one thing is certain, the gloon is a creature that defies easy classification. Its purpose is unclear, and its nature is unsettling. Whispers suggest its light stirs unusual reactions to nearby creatures, calming some, provoking others. Some survivors say its glow can lead lost to safety, others insist it guides them somewhere else entirely. Soon its mysteries will be yours to unravel when Lost Colony releases on December 18th. It sounds pretty cool, and based on the picture it looks like it either turns normal creatures into like the corrupted version, or maybe the opposite. I'm not too sure, but it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's a weird bulldog looking thing. There's always something like this on these maps, so yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see what it does. And in the cover art, we can actually see it riding what looks like a Veilwind, so that's pretty cool. Maybe it's also pretty small if that's the size of it. Now if we look to the left side of this graphic, we can see what looks like a Mizuchi, which is an ancient water dragon in Japanese mythology, so that's pretty cool as well. The design looks awesome, and it looks exactly like that. It looks huge as well. So that leads me to believe that there's probably some sort of water biome outside the city on this map. Just seems to make sense to me. Likely where the biome we saw with the Soulwind's release, that's probably where all this stuff is. If you move down farther, we also get a picture of the Soulwind being ridden with the new armor set, and along with a tech spear on him there. And then keeping on to the bottom, you can see that there is zombies, and then it looks like on the right side with the masks and all the red armor, that's probably the new NPCs. Sticking with the bottom, if you look on the right side, we probably get our best look at the new vampires for this map, which is pretty cool. Then moving up, we get another look at the Ocedon, as well as a flag on the right hand side. That's probably a boss flag, which makes me think that the thing in the middle is the boss, but we'll get to that later. Then moving to the left, you have a couple pictures of the Malwyn, as well as another Ocedon, and then you have tentacles coming out, which looks like corruption from Aberration. It looks nearly identical. So maybe Rockwell is more involved in this than we think he is. Maybe you have to get through him first. What you'll also notice on the slightly to the right of that is that it looks like a new glide suit, maybe a tech glide suit or tech wings. Maybe they're only used by the enemies, but they're definitely right there, so we'll see. Then moving to the top right, you can see what looks like to me a vampire maybe, but it's obviously saddled it looks to be saddled to me anyway, so maybe you can tame these things. I mean, it makes sense if the NPCs have tamed, maybe we're just not allowed to, but yeah. Anyway, that's something to note. Now moving to the middle is what looks most interesting to me, is that this city looks to be the same situation as Extinction, but instead of having the biomes under this huge force field, it's actually the city under the force field. So that might be something to know and be pretty cool. Likely you'll have to storm the city in order to get to the boss fight, which I think is a great idea. Then moving to the top left, you can see pieces of the broken city, as well as, more interesting to me, the northern lights. So maybe that's their way of giving you light on the city, and maybe this is the way. Maybe this has something to do with taming. I would see it being a way to tame some of these things. Like maybe that affects how the gloon acts. A full moon would have him react differently than it would to the northern lights. So that might be a cool taming mechanic we could see. And now moving to the right side, speaking of full moons, it looks like there's a full moon on the right. Behind the tamed maybe vampire, there's more flying vampires. and a mountain range, so that's probably where you're going to be starting, is somewhere in the mountain range or something. Come to think of it, actually, on the left-hand side there, it looks like that's the aberrant arc that's crashed down, so maybe there's an aberration zone on the surface, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, we'll move to the characters now. Obviously, we've got Micah and Helena, which we've seen in the trailers, representing what I think is going to be the good side of this arc. And then on the right, you have the Vampire King, is what I would assume that would be. And then you have a mysterious character in the back with long black hair. Personally, I think that is going to be Mei Ying, and I think whether good or bad, this is where her story is going to end on this map. So, yeah. Well, this video is going for 5 minutes, so let us know what you think down below, and we'll do our next segment next week. So, yeah, thank you, and have a great day.